Hey there, welcome to Hashtag with Nabuguzi Kiwanuka. This is the place where we help you unravel social constructs, discuss self-development in line with mental health, and everything in between that directly or indirectly affects us in the millennial world around us. My goal is to create a virtual platform for millennials to have pertinent conversations society is silent about. What you get from this is without a doubt a chance for you to have moments of self-assessment so that you can ably jump into your next best season. I am your host, Nabuguzi Kiwanuka, a lawyer, founder / team lead of Equate Foundation, an addict and lover of insightful conversations, and a professional unraveler of social constructs. If you're hearing my voice for the first time and are the kind of person who is not scared of being a better version of yourself, even if it requires you to contradict who you were 24 hours ago, this is the place for you, because here we keep unraveling ourselves to reveal who we can be. To the return subscriber, I'm really humbled by your weekly decision to hang out with me. With over a decade and a half of knowing ourselves, Awilli has remained one thing: conversational. She has a way with words, and I think it's what connected us when we got placed in the same corner of the S1 dormitory. That's like 2006. We met again in our adult life, and she's now dabbling as a veterinarian. The success. I've been struggling to pronounce that word. She is dabbling as a Finally, I'm failing again. She has been dabbling as a veterinarian. And a writer. These had to be an interview, but because we often get lost in our conversations, she ended up flipping the interview on me every now and then. So we sort of ended up having a two-way kind of interview. Does that exist? Two-way kind of interview? And if you're the kind of person who is struggling to tap into your ability to shine, you need to pay attention to this conversation. So let's get into it. My guest today is a blogger. Yeah. Is a WordPress blogger in specific. She's a blogger. She's a veterinarian. Vegetarian. Veterinarian. I can't.
Veteran.
Sure.
Veterinarian.
Veterinarian.
It's
a Ray.
Yes.
Ray, veterinarian. Oh, it's easy. Veterinarian.
Veterinarian. Yes.
So you add doctor to it? Veterinarian.
I am.
Vet doctor?
You can say vet doctor.
Vet?
Let's just say vet.
Yeah, she's a vet. Exceptional writer, man.
Thank you, Anne-Marie.
Writer.
Thanks.
I'm not Anne-Marie.
Are we allowed to mention previous guest names here? Are we allowed to?
Dude, I'm Nabuguzi.
Nabuguzi Kiwanuka.
This is hashtag with Nabuguzi Kiwanuka.
So the other name, which you say you're decolonizing from?
Exactly.
We are not mentioning it anymore.
We don't mention it here.
You're
it can happen
Nabuguzi
somewhere
Kiwanuka.
else. Exactly.
Okay. Yes.
So, Awilli, welcome to, I don't know if you've noticed, I always run for Awilli.
I love it. I love the way you pronounce it, by the way.
Okay.
For real, you say it
okay.
articulately, confidently, Awilli.
Yeah.
Yes.
So much love.
Yeah.
So welcome to Hashtag with Nabuguzi Kiwanuka.
Thank you.
It's been a long time coming.
It has. I think, how long ago did you send me the invite?
Possibly a month.
A month ago, and I kept dodging
you know.
But
But I understand. We don't easily come out with our stories. It's not something that is easy to go by. But I thank you so much for coming along.
Thank you for inviting me. I am Nabuguzi's cheerleader. No, cheerleader is quite big, but I enjoy your podcast, Anne-Marie. Like, I love it. I really, really do. And I know I've told you this a lot.
Yeah.
And if you notice, like, I'm that one person who's on Facebook. Sometimes I worry, maybe this is a paid comment. How much are you paying me, Anne-Marie? Make a tell your listeners.
I asked you for a red card. I asked you for a red card. You've not yet given it to me.
So for now, I want to see the effect of what I'm doing. If results are good, then I'll send you the red card.
How are we going to follow that up?
We shall see. You know, with money, money calls. You will come, like, somehow we'll figure it out.
So, Awilli, can you introduce yourself? Who is Awilli?
I've never had to introduce myself in with words. Spoken words.
Spoken words. Why? You use sign language.
I wish. No, I normally put the expression of who I am in written words. And these are the words, I like to use. I like to call myself a fixer, an outlier, fixer, outlier, the kind of people, a rebel.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
And a rebel. For now, let's take those: fixer, outlier, rebel, and empath. And healer. Yes. Actually, we can reverse and put healer first.
Right. So, what were you like growing up?
I'm lucky. People have actually told me, and then I have a really good memory.
What do you remember?
When I remember my childhood, I was a good kid.
By good, you mean?
Lovely kid, sweet, kind, funny. Like, I was the one that was always brought out to dance for visitors when they come. Okay. And I didn't have to be nudged that, now you come and us. No.
You just did it.
Put in the music, Awilo Longoma, Lingala.
Longomba.
Yes, Longomba.
Something of that kind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Awilo, that connection. I love to dance to Lingala. I was that person that was always called, to come and dance, and I did it with a lot of flair and joy. I loved it. I was
Michael Jackson at some point. What are you talking about? I was already, that kid at the parties? I was that as well. So.
Did you try to get matching, wear the white and black?
No, I didn't have those clothes.
Yes.
I just used to see what he used to do, and the old women would like, I'm like, oh yeah, I got this, and I'm sure I didn't have it.
They would
I'm very sure. I'm very sure it was a wrong moves, but I was there. I loved to dance.
I think it was a participation card that the old people were giving you. Yeah. So there's that, and I happened to meet someone who was my babysitter way back when I was young, and she told me that I never used to cry as a kid.
Okay.
Like, I was just a good kid.
You're just experiencing life. How it comes, right?
Exactly. You bring food, I'll eat it. You bring this.
I think that's still who you are.
Yeah, I'm not very fussy.
You're comfortable where you are.
I am very comfortable. I'm always fine where I am. In fact, one of my biggest struggles that I've noticed, I don't want to call it a struggle, but it's a weird thing, is I'm always comfortable where I am. If
to a point that is scary.
Yes, and the bad part with it is that sometimes I stay too long. Even when I should leave, I never know when.
Yeah.
And by the time I figure out that I'm supposed to leave, it's often too late.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm the kind of person who, if you introduce me to a place and say, this is home, I'll say, great. So I will stay here forever. Even when I go to visit friends, leaving is the hardest part about visits when I make them. Like, that's how I get really comfortable.
In a place,
anywhere, like, I will stay. So even if I notice that something is a little bit not okay, because I have a very high threshold, of tolerance, I'll tolerate so much.
Yeah.
And by the time I start to feel that, wait, something isn't right here, it's often too late, So when I was younger, like in my teens, early secondary school, I would have an outburst. Yes.
See, when you talk about outbursts, this is something about suppressing. And then it comes out at the wrong time.
Absolutely.
At the wrong people.
And in situations where the reaction is completely disproportionate
exactly
to what triggered it.
Exactly.
I mean, one time
that's what happens.
One time
that's what happens when you suppress emotions. What do you expect?
Like one time I was at campus.
Yeah.
And someone sent me a cheat.
Okay.
And I didn't know
At campus?
Yeah.
There were cheats at campus?
Now you will understand why there was that outburst. Someone sent me a cheat and I'm like, who sends me a cheat? And then I look around and I stopped the lecture. I said, excuse me, ma'am. Someone just sent me a cheat, and I need to know who did it. Who sent me this cheat?
Oh my goodness.
And the class went quiet. This is second year.
What?
Who sent me the cheat? And the lecturer is like, you guys, please, you shouldn't behave like this. We are now big people. You can't be sending cheats. So please, if you know you're the one who has done it, can you please approach her and apologize?
Who was going to do that?
Exactly. And everyone was like, okay.
That's extremely strange.
Exactly. Now
extremely weird.
Exactly. That was extreme. But now this is where it.
Did you ever get to have a moment where you sat back and like, what was that?
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
In a few. Now the most heartbreaking thing, well, not really heartbreaking, but like, the person who had sent me the cheat, was actually a friend, and they were just playing. And
Dude.
This was my friend, like someone I genuinely cared about.
Yeah.
And then I had caused that. That's the moment when I realized that something is wrong here and you need to fix it.
Right.
And I had episodes of that, in my way back, and then I was like, this one, this is not right.
Yeah.
And I remember a time when I used to like to visit my uncle in Kampala.
Yeah.
And they had their niece, and she was a very nice kid. But then I found that whenever I was trying to stop her, I was shouting at her.
Yeah.
So when I listened to myself and I saw the person that I was talking to, it wasn't matching.
Proportionate.
It's a kid, and a very lovely kid, and
Exactly.
I loved the kid. And in that moment, I just decided that I will never, ever have an outburst ever again.
Yeah.
Never. That was 2014. Never happened.
How did you choose to work that out? How do you manage to work that out?
What normally happens is, at that time, I was not smart enough to know when to avoid things early, before it even happens. Because there's people that you meet, and it's quite clearly written all over their face that this person is argumentative unnecessarily, or
they're always up for a fight.
Exactly. Or this person is always having issues with someone,
Yeah.
Or it's not about me, it's this person. But now the pattern had been that I wasn't smart enough to tell that this is other people's issues that I am taking on, and then I'm trying to deal with it. I mean, someone is argumentative all their life. So if they come and they provoke me, I should be smart enough to know that this person is argumentative.
Right.
So I shouldn't engage them.
Yeah, you need to realize that the moment where you're like, you're not supposed to engage.
Exactly.
I had an episode of that kind. What is today's date? It happened on Sunday, I think. Yeah, it could have been this Sunday. And this guy was really pushing me, really testing my buttons. I was about to engage, and I was like, because I know what his character is, I was like, you're not worth it.
Exactly.
I recused myself from it. I was like, because now there was a third party. He was like, no, you speak. I was like, let me tell you something. There are some things that are worth engaging in, and there are those that aren't.
Exactly.
And I walked away.
And okay, by the time you reached the place of making that decision of things, there are things which are worth engaging and those which are not. did you learn that in the moment, or it was information that you had collected over time and you were now applying it in this situation?
I'm an information collector, I think. I'd like to call myself, like, I'm always there picking out lessons. Like the way how lessons that could help me go through life. Personally, I had temper issues. I had temper issues.
You're saying that and I'm like, oh God, no.
Like, I sit back and I think about myself. I'm like, that was dangerous.
Yeah.
If you had gotten me really angry and I wanted to hit you, I would carry anything that is close. But my mom prayed. And it was annoying that she was praying for me, because we would be praying together and she goes like, God, my daughter, like, are you really doing this? How do you report me to God when I'm listening? So I was very offended. Like, how am I here and you're reporting me to God that I have temper issues? I was offended again. I was like, what are you saying? So I would be praying and then she's like, oh dear God, my daughter has temper issues. Like, are you serious? I would switch off. I would get really angry. But I think it worked. Because all of a sudden I felt powerless. I didn't want to engage. I felt like it takes so much
of yours
to be angry. Because at some point I wouldn't get over something until I cried. Like, even if you got me angry and I beat you up, I would not calm down until I cried.
Did you actually beat up anybody?
Of course.
Wait, what?
I was a fighter. When you grow up with boys and your games are wrestling, you know where to hit.
I grew up with one boy and that boy beat me up.
I grew up with boys as my brothers. I would start fights with them. I grew up with boys in my neighborhood. We played football as a boy. So I knew where to beat. But then, actually, the first thing that took me away from fighting was I was having a conversation with a girl in St. Joseph's. Her name is Tracy. This is some chick who is like all gracious. She's so calm. So I was in S2.
Wait, Anne-Marie, you need to let people know that we were in the same school.
Yes, we did share schools at some point. I'll talk about it much later. So what happened was that for me, fighting was normal, right? And here I am in a single-sex school telling a girl that I fight with my brother and it's okay. And she goes like, you fight? I'm like, yeah. And she said, no, girls don't fight. You look funny when you fight. So I imagined myself fighting and I was like, that's actually, it's not a good sight.
It actually looks funny.
That is not good. So I stopped. When my brother would trigger me, I was like, hey, no,
don't fight.
Do not. Like, I'm not going to engage in this. So still the temper didn't go away because at least I would cry. But now it got to a point that the crying would trigger my asthma. So people started saying, words started going around. Do not annoy that chick. When you annoy her, she gets an attack. And of course it wasn't coming out in a place of we are caring about you, but it was coming from a place of scorn. So I was like, you know what? You don't have to react to everything. And that was, I think, in like S5 when I realized, I was like, you don't have to react to everything. Some things are not worth it. You can walk away from some things. And I've found so much peace in that area. Like, I get shocked sometimes, but sometimes I miss my old self because these guys can really be trying. Human beings can really be trying, and you're like, I should have done this to you if you had met me 10 years ago, but we thank God I don't have energy anymore. So I came to that place. It was the very first reason as why I stepped away from engaging from many things, my health. I was like, no, first of all, there's so much medicine in my body. I'm always getting attacks.
Yeah.
I need to find a way of reducing them. So getting angry, I would get to a point like, you don't know. And I walk away. Yeah, so it was mostly for my health, and I was like, And then as time went on, I got into studies of emotions and all these things, and I learned to respond other than reacting.
Yeah.
So most times, on the instant, dependent on your patterns, on what your past experiences are, there are moments where you feel like, I'm offended. But in actual sense, you sit back and like, are you really offended?
Yeah.
This person was trying to say this. So you step out of your emotions and assess something independently and like,
like you move past the words and go to the intention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I got to this space of not everything is worthy. And sometimes you get to experience people, their patterns, the things that they do, and you're like what you were talking about, how you've seen people are argumentative all the time.
Yeah.
So you look at some people and like,
it's not worth
you're not worth my time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the reason. It's this whole story from prayer to studying emotions and like, no. So here we are. I mean, I met you. I think that what people don't know is that I met you before I met you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Awilli, I joined a primary. I joined a boarding primary school. Is it a primary boarding school? Whatever.
Yeah.
I joined the school, and there was this name, Awilli. People were talking about Awilli. And I had missed out the chance. You had left the school already. Awilli, what did you leave in the school? What did you do?
To be honest, I only got to hear from you. Yes, that I had left a name that side.
I can't remember what the story was.
Yes.
But Awilli, I knew Awilli before I knew Awilli. And then when we met in S1, I was like, you're the person? And I was just ready to experience you. And then in that moment, there was so much. I was drawn to you. Yeah. I knew there was something about you that, much as we weren't close or tight friends, like I would sit back and like, there is this chick.
Yeah.
But we weren't friends. Like, I think I had already built a relationship with you before knowing you.
So
what did you do? Tell us.
I wish I knew
because
what
you're talking
I
about.
did. But one thing I know for sure is that there's
because you're talking about how you're a lovely child, but no, the news left. What did you leave?
Exactly. So it's funny, but everywhere I go, I leave a name. Everywhere I go, I leave a name. Like, you cannot experience me and then forget about me. That doesn't happen. It doesn't.
You have to leave a mark.
Exactly. Everywhere I have been. So if you dig well, you will you will find, So I think what happened in Chisubi was that, my goodness, this brings back memories.
Yeah.
Oh, Anne-Marie on Fungu Day. Oh my God. So, this is what happened.
Yeah.
Chisubi, the school might have received me as, received this person, but the circumstances under which I joined were because of things at home.
Okay.
Yeah, your listeners probably don't know. Well, not that I've told them anything yet, but I've grown up in a single parent home.
Oh, right.
Yes, and with my father mainly. My mom is still alive, and they basically do co-parenting, and my father is the main custodian. So I've lived with my father virtually all my life, starting 1997.
Okay.
Yeah, so the circumstance under which I joined St. Teresa was because my father has to work. So there's my brother and I.
Right.
I am a 4-year-old. My brother is only 6.
Yeah.
But then he has to go to work every day. And he's a soldier.
Yeah.
That means anytime he's taken away from the country or he goes to
away from home.
Yes, for a long, for long sessions of time. And I don't know exactly what was up during that time, but keeping us at home, I don't know. I've never bothered to ask him.
Yeah.
But there was. I think my father was struggling. I honestly think so.
Figuring it out.
Yeah, because you have 2 kids that you have to take care of, to feed, wash them, wash their clothes.
He was doing everything on his own.
Yeah, because
no house help.
No.
Ooh.
So he was doing that alone. At some point we had, I don't want to say house help because that was a sister.
Yeah.
But she stayed with us for a short time. And by the time I was in primary 2, she had left. Like we went to the village for holidays. She didn't come back because she found someone.
Yeah.
And so she had to. She went to start her own family. Then when we came back, it was basically us. So now I have a very distinct memory of our neighbor, very good woman. Like this lady used to cook in 2 compounds.
Okay.
So she would cook for her kids,
right?
Since she was a stay-at-home mom. Then she would run to our house and cook for us as well. Yeah. So our houses were built in such a way that we faced each other.
Yeah.
So when she was done, she would run and fry our beans because that was easy to do. And perhaps maybe like food was left over from the previous night, say the posho or the rice. But she would do that. And I think my father had difficulty coping.
Maybe she was helping. But then I wonder, of course you can't answer this question. Why wasn't she just cooking at once and inviting you to eat? Like, I'm sorry for being logical, but why was she doing that? Like she will.
No, I think my father was also trying to be Superman, to show that I have cooked in my house, I think he didn't want a scenario where we as kids, he didn't want our circumstances to normalize such things as eating from other people's homes.
Right.
And up to this day, the one thing that my father has taught us is self-reliance. Like you have to make sure that you organize yourself in such a way that you're not a burden to another person.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how we joined boarding school, my brother and I.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I went to St. Teresa. I was in P2. I was 7. Then my brother joined Convert Modern. And that's how we went into boarding school. I didn't cope well with boarding. I did not at all. I used to lose everything.
Right.
As in bed sheets. How do you lose a bed sheet? How do you lose a bed sheet?
It happens at that age.
But like that was extreme.
Because in that school system, if I remember right, was it P5? P5 and P6, I'm not sure.
We used
to wash.
Yes.
For P4 to P1.
No. For P, you know what? I don't know first.
P4 to P1. Yeah. P5 and P6 used to wash for those classes.
Yeah.
So this week, I think it would be like P5, and then the next week it would be P6 washing the clothes.
Yeah.
So I think you had to go and check. Oh, darling.
Yes.
You had to go and look for your bed sheets.
Yes.
So young.
Actually, you've reminded me. Because what used to happen was...
That was so young.
These guys would wash.
Yeah.
And then spread the clothes.
And then you have to go and figure out yourself.
Now, I didn't think that I was supposed to go and look for them.
Know.
I would only remember that I don't have a bed sheet.
When you go to bed.
At 7:30 in the night. And then there's this girl, I think her name was Namaya Anja.
Right.
And then she'd come and we go and look for our bed sheet later.
And they used to confiscate the clothes that stayed outside.
Exactly.
Oh, I understand. Of course you had to lose the bed sheets.
And then I think the time which was like the peak of my confusion was we had holidays. Chiromo, so Thursday, the day before Friday when people are leaving, and then the matron had gathered all these clothes that people had been losing during the course of the term,
and they would get caned. Did you get caned?
Now this is where it gets interesting. I literally saw my bed sheet there. I saw it. You know these bed sheets where so it's a pair. The first pair is fine, but the second one has corners which have that elastic.
Yeah.
So I had the top part, but the one which had the elastic,
right,
I
didn't
lost
have it.
And I saw it there.
Okay.
But they were beating people. I left it.
I'm not engaging in that. Okay.
I left it.
Right.
And then the next day, my father came to pick me, and I had an empty suitcase. Like there was nothing. I'm like, where are the socks?
Yeah.
Where is your uniform? Where's the sweater? Okay, where is anything?
Where is anything?
And
the suitcase is here.
Yeah, now when I look back, I think it must have like crushed him. You know? Because you're a parent, you're trying to cope, you think you have got all these things, you know, you've secured the child, and then you're working, and things just weren't working out.
Yeah.
And eventually I had to leave boarding.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to leave boarding, but not before leaving news.
What news did you leave? What could you have left behind?
I broke a leg.
I think they talked about that.
Yeah.
And then what?
I broke a leg, and then so I didn't leave news. My father did.
Your father left the news. What happened?
So my father is very outspoken.
Yes.
Like for him, he will talk.
As you are.
Maybe that's why I got, but he will talk. He will talk.
Yes.
You know? So when Subi and I had my leg was broken. Mm-hmm. If you remember the arrangement of the school, during break time.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are two factors here. So there's the issue of break time where we used to go and we are supposed to go and line up for
in front of the HM's.
Yes,
place
to pick
get
bands.
Yeah.
That's one. Then the other was the P3 or P2 classes.
P1 to P4 classes
were outside
the gate.
Outside the gate.
The upper section.
Yes. So here I had crutches.
Yeah.
That meant that I could not go to pick a band.
Yeah.
That also meant...
That is in P2.
Yes. Is that P2? No, P3.
That's
P3.
Still, that's young. On crutches.
That's P3. So
figuring out life on your own in boarding school.
Yeah, so I couldn't pick a band. And I also could not go for lunch. It was inconvenient to walk to the DH to get food.
It was too much.
And then walk back. And so an arrangement had been made for me to sleep in the dispensary.
Okay.
But for lunch, meals were some students had been requested to be bringing for me food.
Yeah.
And everything was okay. That was fine. You know, it was happening. Unfortunately.
What happened?
The day I was supposed to go for review, they did not bring my band.
Okay.
And they also did not bring my lunch. And then my father came to pick you for review. So he looks at me and my lips are pale. You know, and then I must have not been looking fine.
Yeah.
You know? So my lips are pale. I'm probably hungry and it's showing on the face.
Yeah.
And my father is like, "Did you eat?" I'm like, "Yeah, I ate."
You're trying to cover up?
Yeah. No, you have not eaten.
Uh-oh.
I was like, "No, we ate." And then I think he did this thing. I was like, "It's okay, you can tell me."
Right.
Did you eat? I said, "No." I think I saw him breathe like, and he just... So he got a border because I was getting my treatment from Grade B hospital in Tebe. You know, so we went to the hospital. They checked. Apparently, it hadn't yet healed.
Yeah.
But the plaster had become dirty, so they basically just added another one to make it have that clean appearance and stuff. And we got on the border back to school. Right. Along the way, my father saw the nurse. And he stopped the border guy, like, stop. But the border guy stopped too late.
Yeah.
And those guys were far back, and it's like, it's okay, let's continue.
Okay.
So he went to the school, and he went to the sick bay, and he asked them why they are starving his sick daughter.
Ouch. And I don't think it was calm.
No,
because it wouldn't have made news to the students.
My father asked them, why are you starving my child? And that is when he went into, we bring our children here, we are paying school fees, you can't take care of my child?
Yeah.
Now, oh my God, now in this moment, I'm noticing that it must have been
too much
for him.
It was like, I want to think that he felt like boarding school would be the best option.
Exactly.
Her needs will be catered for. And now he feels like, I'm failing my child.
Exactly. And it's like, I even bought things because he had bought some milk, and it was this UHT milk in the boxes, and I don't like fresh milk a lot. So I request the nurses to make it as tea for me. So, he brought that up. I've brought things. Why? How can a child stay without eating?
Oh, yeah.
How?
Yeah.
And oh my, he made news, and that's when kids gathered around the dispensary.
And I found the news, right? It makes sense. It makes sense.
So, and kids started gathering around the dispensary, and they started reporting their issues to him.
Hey! They got an empty. You're kidding.
Yes, and kids are like, even me last time when my mother, and like suddenly people are
so
now
funny. They got a voice from the outside.
Exactly, people started speaking up. Okay,
That's so funny.
So in that, I don't remember my place anymore. I'm like, by that time, I think, I don't know where I was.
Really?
I didn't even have time to feel like a hero, Like, it was too much.
I know.
Like, literally, the school was shaken, Like, the school came to a standstill.
That's so funny when it's even
Yeah.
after someone's parent coming out. That's so funny.
Yeah.
So here you are as a rebel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my God.
Why do you call yourself a rebel? What is that moment that made you feel like, I'm indeed a rebel?
Now, this is the thing with me.
Yeah.
I follow rules.
Yeah?
Yeah. To that dot. Like, I follow rules. I am obedient. I know right. I know wrong. And every day of my life, I live in such a way that I don't infringe on another person's rights and their freedoms.
Yeah.
And I go beyond not wanting to infringe your rights and freedoms, but to making an effort to make sure that you come out. Like, I want to give you release. I'm so free with myself that I want another person to be free.
Right.
I don't make rules for people. I don't do that. Like, I want people to be free. If I feel that I cannot continue, I leave.
Yeah.
Like, you're free to be who you are, and people will love you that way.
Right.
I have no responsibility to change someone, So
you can't change them either.
Exactly. So I feel like in this, my personal life of doing this public service to the world, if something is not right, like,
going to come
I'm
out and
following
say.
the rules, but if you're not going to do what is right by you, I'm not going to accept it.
Right. I
won't accept it. Like, you can do whatever you want, but do it within the limits of what's acceptable for you.
Right.
But if your freedom is infringing on another person's freedoms, or if the things you're doing are just not right, like, if it's right, if it's not right, it's not right. I won't keep quiet.
I know.
Yeah, I will talk.
We aren't any different.
So that's where the rebel thing comes in. And I also noticed that in a moment of, like, in that moment, like, when I've decided that I'm going to take on this battle,
Yeah.
I'm willing to die. Like it's okay. I literally sacrifice everything within that moment. I wouldn't say I've been very successful in that. It's exhausting.
It's a lot of investment. You choose your battles.
Yeah.
You can't engage in everything.
Exactly. Like it's really exhausting because when you try to look back, you realize, wait, what am I fighting? By the way, like, what am I fighting? You start to realize that there are some battles you can never win. You know, you can never win. But this is where it gets interesting. I turned all those fights towards myself.
Right.
You know,
how is that?
Like, if for example, I find that, how should I say it? Like I've turned all guns towards fixing myself to be able to deal with the world that I apparently cannot stand, instead of trying to change the world. You know,
working on your attitude.
Exactly. Yeah. So if, for example, what's the best example that it has become so much of a lifestyle that I can't even point to a specific example, but the one that I'm most in control of and has helped me to deal with the temper issues, you know?
Yeah.
If you find someone who increasingly they make you agitated, you know, or they rouse anger in you, you avoid them.
Walk away. It's
know?
Okay to walk away.
Yeah, like if someone consistently brings out the worst out of you, that's not the person you're supposed to be with. Because there was a time when I started to doubt myself, you know?
Yeah.
Because in my heart, I'm like, I'm a good kid. Like, I'm sweet. I'm kind. But then there's people who's, if you ask them that she is mad.
Yeah.
That chick is not okay. She's, you know, she's not fine. You never know when you're going to step on. And I'm like, that's not who I am. I'm accommodative. I love people. I'm tolerant. But then
there are just moments that are hard, that are out of my control.
Yeah. Then I noticed they are not exactly out of my control.
You can't get them in control.
Yeah, that's when I started to take charge. That's when I started to make certain decisions.
Right.
And it was very strange for me because I've lived my life being liked. The good kid. Like I figured it out early that people like me, you know. I'm like, oh, so then I noticed that people like me because I am not what other people are.
Yeah.
Like I'm not mean, I'm not rude, I'm not. But now what happened is that I ended up accommodating even things I'm not supposed to accommodate.
You failed to differentiate what you wanted for yourself.
So you reached a point, I would reach a point where I'm like, this is not, like, I'm not supposed to be accommodating this one. Like, I understand that I want to have the label of being a kind person.
I'm nice.
But this one is not giving me the chance to be kind, or I want to be a nice person. And I am a nice person, but
you were desperate to keep your what is the word called? Your image of nice, because you're desperate to keep what people imagine you to be.
Exactly.
And you were not ready to take yourself
wasn't.
Your whole self, to accept your emotions, to accept your wellness. And you got lost in that kind of.
And the scariest bit was that the more I wanted to accept myself, the more it appeared as if
you were mean.
I was, tending towards the other mean.
And you were scared you're losing it.
And I was like, oh my God, I'm a mean person. I'm a selfish person.
For liking yourself.
Exactly.
And it happens to many of us. Let me tell you, there's a moment I was very hurt. I was tired of crying. I was tired of being broken. And I started telling God, make me bad. And I was serious with my prayers, like, make me bad. I really want to be a bad person. I'm tired of this. Make me mean. I prayed. It didn't work.
And that's funny because
no, I had to learn how to maneuver life. I was like, okay, that has not worked.
For me, my biggest battle in life has been like, I'm a nice person, but please be nice to me.
But not everyone can be nice, you know.
No, exactly. But I used to have this.
Did
Crazy
you feel
idea?
Yeah,
that...
you felt like what I'm giving you, you're supposed to return.
Clearly, that's not how the world works.
That's not how it works.
But I don't know.
There's some people that are there to take from you.
Yeah.
And now I think for me, what could have happened was that it happened when I started to step up for myself. Must have been 2017. There was this chick, I was always there for her, and she knew it.
Yeah.
And then it reached a moment for her to be there for me, and she was like, "Me, don't put me in your things." And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm used to being there for people. Yeah. I don't expect anyone to be there for me, but what was that? Yeah. And she came back to bring up a completely whole different conversation. For me to accommodate her, what she's struggling with. And it made us like, wait, this has been happening? For the very first time, for the years that you've known me, for like 6 or 4 or 5 years, that I've been there for you. This one moment, that was the first. I was like, this is happening, like, don't put me in your things. Yeah. And she came up with a whole different story about herself and how she's struggling. And I was like, wait, I've been doing this. And that's when I was like, no, I'm not a sacrificial lamb. So I was like, you either
and that was what,
stay.
2017?
Yeah, that's 2017.
My goodness. You know,
that's when I started to take guns up. Like, not guns. That's quite violent. That's quite
violence
violent.
is the new internet theme.
No, we are not violating anything here. So what happened was that, wait, I need to love myself. But I didn't even know what it meant.
You know, wait, let me interrupt you a bit.
Yeah.
It's funny because the first time I heard about self-love, it was the most alien.
You don't understand it because you just think,
what is that? Self-love, what's that? You know, it sounded like arrogance to me, honestly.
Yeah, but the thing is, you get tied in pleasing people, but you don't even know what you deserve.
You know, one of the most painful realizations that I ever came to in my life. It was so painful, even up to now, when I see that word anywhere, I get triggered.
What word is that?
People pleaser. It offends me that, because clearly that's what I was.
Exactly, but we don't know that.
I lived for everybody else.
Everyone works for a certain image.
Yeah, but a people pleaser, there's nothing, it doesn't sound anything. You know, type A personality sounds much better than a people pleaser.
Now, for me, what I did, you see that I had set the table for everyone to come to me. Come here, all who are burdened. Acting God.
Oh, ye Jesus Christ.
Right?
Yeah.
I flipped the tablecloth. And when it settled, whoever stayed.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I look at myself and how I have a couple of glitches in my personalities, and I sit back and I watch these people that love me, and I'm like, wow, how do you guys cope? But then I find it worthy, because much as because I also have moments when they're extremely annoying, but I love them so much. Like, I sit back and I'm like, how did I get so lucky to have such people in my life? Which has also helped me, because now in that moment where I used to think that I love everyone and I'm supposed to be nice to everyone, I realized that when someone didn't fit the definition of a nice person, I would just cut them off immediately. But I looked at myself in the mirror and like, there are people here for you. People are not trusting you. And I'm like, oops, I would feel guilty. And I'm like, we need to give people space to grow into themselves. That is if they're worth it. Yeah. Because not everyone is worth it. I'm telling you that this person that I cut out, sometimes I feel sorry for her, right? Because she had someone at the tip of her hand. But then I got to a place whereby I wasn't offering myself to her. I was like, you know, Jesus, you need to give where you're getting. So I was like, at some point she would come and be like, no, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give anything else. It's like, you know what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And because she wasn't getting anything from me, she left.
Do you know that's the sad reality of life?
No, it's not sad. For me, I've come to a place of being like, people come and go. And anything can happen at any time.
But do you know what
Things
it takes
change.
to come to that point?
Oh, aha! A whole lot.
Exactly.
It's
and
a revolution.
that's why I tell you that that's the sad reality about life. Like, it's sad before you know it.
Yeah.
But as soon as you know it, it's very empowering.
Yeah.
You come to a place where you know that there is no person who can hold you back without your permission. Like, no one can hold you back. And I always tell myself this, like, if there's any person in your mind who you feel, I can't do this because of so and so, or I can't do this because so and so, you're going to come to the end of your life and realize that actually they had no power.
Yeah.
It was you. You could have done something about it.
Yeah.
You gave this person a very high place where you felt like you couldn't remove them. You know, you couldn't let them go. And you got stuck.
I learned something. When you say you couldn't let them go, I don't know where I got this from. I think it was a monk speaking. And he was like, well, you know what happens with a rope? When there's a force pulling a rope and you're holding on to it tightly, it bruises your hand.
Yeah.
But when you let go, you protect yourself from the bruises.
Yeah.
So that's still something that got into the way how I react to things, and I've gotten to a space whereby I invest myself. I do my best. And I also, the fact that I fear regrets, I put out my best. And by the time I walk, I know I've walked.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be like, I didn't do this. No.
Ask me if I have any regrets, Anne-Marie.
You don't have any?
I don't have any regrets because it started from the people pleasing part, but as soon as I knew better, I did better. So I have no regrets.
Right.
Yeah.
So currently you're doing something, your blog. It's a mix of things.
My baby.
It's a mix of things, and I've seen you feature a couple of creatives.
Yes.
Hashtag with Nabuguzi Kiwanuka has featured.
Happy.
And tell us about it. How did you come to this and say, I'm now creating this?
So it comes from two things. I love to appreciate people.
Oh.
Like I do. I have an eye for good things.
Yeah.
I see effort, you know?
Right.
I never see something that's good and assume it came out of nowhere. There's always hard work when someone does a good thing.
Yeah.
I also love it when people grow. I love it when people, like live out their potential. It gives me immense joy to do. And I've lived all my life being like a cheerleader of people. I'm that person when I see something, I'm like, oh my God, wow, you did that. That is so cool, you know?
Yeah.
So it makes me so happy, and basically that's what I do. It was never even the plan, by the way.
Yeah, because I saw it was completely different, and then it shifted.
Yes.
So all of a sudden I was like, okay, we're now growing with this blog.
Exactly.
We're seeing where it's starting. We are experiencing the inception and how it is unraveling into various fields.
Yes. I have beef with our media. Anne-Marie, I've told you, I haven't cried in your inbox.
What do you mean? Oh, with my media, with our media.
My God, it's sickening. It is sickening, Anne-Marie. Like, I love good news, you know. Yeah, I love good news. It's what I obsess about.
Yeah.
Like, I love good things. I love to hear that someone has come from point A to point B. Those are the stories I want to see. But from Monday to Monday, sex, you know, so and so has done such and such a thing. And I wouldn't mind if people are talking about relationships.
Yeah.
But they're even giving wrong information.
Right,
It's
right.
wrong. So I reached a point when I just cut it all out. I didn't want to anymore. It's politics. Who has killed who? You know, they're giving
Toxic.
us false
I've been
reports.
in that area.
So I was like, I'm done. I don't like this. So I'm going to write the kind of stories that I like to read. And
so you're in the space of be the change that you're sick.
yeah. And this is also the other thing. That thing of be the change. I've always been that person who always shows people like how they can be better.
Yeah.
But I think for some reason they thought, you know, I was bothering them. So I've decided to take my own advice.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
do those things myself. So in that blog, we write about good news only. I get people who are doing something.
Yeah.
And bringing that reality.
Yeah.
So that another young person can be inspired. I was inspired by, is it okay to mention these people?
Of course.
Yeah. About last year, I was having really huge issues.
Yeah.
I was trying to step out into what I knew I wanted to do, and writing has been that thing. But I didn't have a representation of that anywhere around me.
Yeah.
You know? So I've told you how I stumbled upon your podcast.
Yes, you mentioned.
I was like, I know this person. And wait, they are recording their voice and selling and like putting it out there.
Right.
And me, all I have to do is write.
Yeah.
You know, all I have to do is write. So I was like, I have to do something about it. So that's when the blog ceased to be something about, you know, just a leisure time activity to something serious. Around then also, Okello, Herbert, Andrew.
Yeah.
I used
Untold Stories.
Now I didn't even know he was the guy behind Untold
How did you
Stories.
find him? Anyway, that's the whole story. Right, that's the whole story.
But I used to just see his post, the way he was expressing himself.
He's a great writer.
Oh, he is. And I thought, wait, so people are allowed to show off their shine, you know, because
To shine their shine.
exactly. So I used to have a way that I read, but I feared, you know, being too much. You know? So I'll just keep it there. But then I saw this person and I looked through their news feed. I loved the way they were writing. And I was like, I can actually do this. I just didn't have a representation of someone who was doing it. So
that you can actually do it.
Exactly. So that's when also the nature of my Facebook posts changed. Initially, I had always been a consumer, and I never posted anything because I never wanted to write anything that wasn't a representation of who I am.
Whoa.
Now, when I saw Herbert Andrews' post, they gave
Could
me...
it have been coming from a fear of not being appreciated by everyone?
This is not about being appreciated, and this is why it's going to probably hurt many people. Anne-Marie, I am so good at the things I do that what I feared was, how will people receive me?
Exactly.
Because here you are, you're a doctor, and then you're really great with English, and then you're doing the poetry thing, and then you're writing, and then you can speak.
You felt like you were too much for yourself.
I felt like I was too much,
and you would be too much for every other person.
Yeah, that's basically the whole reason.
So that's what kept you at the back, and you wanted to.
I wanted
give
to
them small portions of yourself. They can manage these.
Exactly.
If you have the light, let them wear the glasses. If your shine is too much, let them wear the sunglasses. Let them wear the sunglasses. This is what I picked. I picked this from Lisa Nichols. The people that helped me come out of my brokenness were two people. I don't know if I should call it therapy.
Yeah.
But I did that work myself. I picked myself up
Yeah. And it's not something easy for everyone. It's a whole journey. It's hard.
It's hard.
And the people that I had ringing in my head were two.
Yeah.
TD Jakes and Lisa Nichols.
Yeah.
I got particular videos of theirs, downloaded them, and whenever I would feel like I'm crumbling, I'll play one of their things.
Yeah.
Every single day I was fixing myself. I was doing the work.
Yeah.
Where I was scared of myself, I was doing the work. Every day I had to be reminded of who I was.
Yeah.
And this chick at some point was like, if you're scared that you're shining too much, if you're scared that your shine is too bright, the ones watching should wear the glasses. And let me tell you, it's very important to have people in your sanctum. That's like your holy place.
Yeah.
People that are going to take your shine and they shine it elsewhere. There's a point when I was getting into this podcasting industry, and this is the point, I'm still figuring it out. I feel like it's hard. And then Wabwire, the person that I respect in the creative industry, picks me up and says, you're one of the women in the creative industry. I'm like, wait, what?
Since when? You're like, how?
I wanted to say no.
Yeah.
I'm not coming for that. But I was like, no. You don't bring a negative image on the first instance. When else are you going to be called back?
Wow.
Go and shine. If it's dull, shine a little, right?
Yeah.
I went and found myself there.
And Sean.
I don't know if I should, but I did. Because
yeah.
people got to pick up my podcast. Some people started picking up my podcast. And then I was like, okay. But now I'm still struggling with that thing. And then this is where someone who used to come to me with her stories, and she's like, you know, she has never listened to this podcast. Yeah. And she was like, I see you doing great things, so I wanted to tell you something. And, but you're doing so many great things. I didn't want to bother you with my shallow stories. Now I felt bad. I was like, hey, this thing I'm doing is taking away friends from me. I'm overdoing it. So I quickly went to my WhatsApp status. I was like, you guys, I'm not doing anything big.
You apologize.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not doing anything big.
And Mary, you're doing big things.
I was like, I'm not doing anything big. So
yeah.
I posted it. And then someone, Nachewa, Ruth.
Yeah.
She was like, hey, someone is telling you to dim your light. And I was like, wait, what? And then Aboku, she's in my sanctum. She was like, if they can't handle it, we can handle it.
Wow.
I was like, okay. No, I didn't know what was happening. Me, I was there. I have to keep my friends. I'm not doing anything. Please don't be scared of me. We're still friends. And there are two people that are coming to me and they're like, she's dimming your light.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, okay. And then someone else is saying, if they can't handle you, we can handle you.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. I've been given the permission to shine.
Do this. Exactly. Now, I'm so happy. I like how you mentioned, the sanctum thing.
Yeah.
I have had this one person. My goodness. Zabuli.
Yeah.
I'm even getting teary. Ooh, Zabuli.
Right.
My goodness. My God. Do you know when someone picks you up from literally nowhere?
Yeah.
Like they pick you up and then you walk this journey.
Yeah.
Like they pick you from the things I do now. She saw them way back.
Okay.
Like over 5 years ago. And she kept telling me, listen, Anna, you're this. You're capable of doing so much more than you're doing right now. And those are the times when I was so broken and I was trying to apologize for being me.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to make people comfortable.
Right.
And she's like, no.
Yeah.
No. And she pushed me to write.
Yeah.
And the other person has been my dad.
Oh man, I saw him. I saw him on Facebook. I was like, this is powerful. This is a powerful validation.
Like, he always comments on my stuff.
I saw just one, I was like, yay!
And the time when I had just started, you know, the first few blog posts, he was always the first commenter. Always. And
that's so empowering.
Now, there's something about the blog I need to tell you. So, someone once told me that, you know, you should put your stuff out, you know, start writing and stuff. Someone I respect.
Yeah.
And I did. You know, I made my first blog post. I remember I put it out like at 3 in the night. I was so excited. Like, oh my God, I did this. I did this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so excited. And then I shared with them the link.
Yeah.
And they were like, "What? It's not nice what you wrote.
Whoa.
It's depressing. It's heavy.
Oh, you need to play small.
Like, it's not. Oh my God." You know, when I tell you that I like to cheer, like, you know, to do the cheerleading
because
thing,
you know what it's like
because
not to be cheered.
Not to be cheered. And then I also know the work that it takes.
Yeah.
And the amount of work you do to get over the self-esteem issues, that fear of how will people receive me? What if they don't like what I write?
Yeah.
And then I made this blog post and someone told me that it's not nice.
Yeah.
You know? And
what did you decide to do in that moment?
I stopped to blog. I stopped.
I'm sorry.
Like, I stopped. Like, I forgot about. Like, I stopped.
That's sad. That's quite sad.
Yeah, until one day I received a message from my dad.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hi." Now, this is how I imagine his voice sounds like in a text message.
Yeah.
It's like, "Hi, Musao." That's what he calls me. "How are you? I hope you're fine." He gave a name of one of his professors.
Yeah.
Who, I think he has been studying. So I'm like, "Madam so-and-so has seen your blog. My God, you write so well." And I was
Can
like,
you imagine?
Didn't say blog that has seen your writing and she thinks you write so well. And I was like, what writing? You know?
Yeah.
Like, no, you wrote something somewhere. Then I remembered, I actually have a blog.
Wow.
You know?
After how many years is this?
It's months, actually. Because years of not writing, then I finally get the courage.
And then
to write.
someone just takes the power away from you.
I made the first blog post in, I think it was around May.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually the second. So I wrote in May. And this was like in around August.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, "Wait, what? Like, which link?" I needed to be sure. Then they forwarded the link, and it was my WordPress. I was like, no, I started explaining myself. You know, I wasn't even paying attention. That's when I knew that I had to take it up seriously. Then I wrote, and this person again came back.
Yeah.
And said, "You know, there's a way you scatter your ideas.
Oh dear.
You know, you're not coherent because the title says this, but..." And immediately I told them, and like, you know, you need to get an editor. I said, no.
Wow.
I said, no, stop.
There's always that person who is saying you're not good enough.
Exactly. I was like, no. He was comparing me to like writers who are seasoned.
Yeah.
I'm like, but I'm just starting out. You can't expect the excellence of a seasoned writer, you know? Then if you know what it takes to write, you normally have so many things on the inside which are struggling to come out. And often you have to push one idea down so that this other one can come out. Okay, but I shut him down.
Yeah.
And was like, fine, if you don't want to listen to me, I shut him down.
Yeah.
I never lost my confidence in that. Like in that moment, I didn't.
Cheers to you. Woo. And now here you are shining light on everyone else.
Here I am. I love what I'm doing so far.
And I think it's going to take you far.
It is.
That's what I feel.
It is.
That's what I feel.
Prophesy, woman of God. Prophesy.
Yeah.
Maybe it's too early to say this, but my frustration with our local media is just driving me to places that I'm willing to go.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much, you guys. There's kids, people are committing suicide.
They're dying by suicide. The word.
You're right, because that's accusatory.
Yeah,
you're right. You see, no, if we didn't have hashtag with Nabuguzi Kiwanuka, how would I know? You see that? So yeah, people are dying by suicide. People are depressed. People are not stepping out into the fullness of who they are.
Yeah.
Everything I am now is as a result of the information I've fed myself off of YouTube.
Thank you.
You know, so I have selected the people I will listen to, and sometimes I look back, I'm like,
you find the content that you're not finding
so I'm
in
like,
the local media.
If I had listened to our local media here, who would I be? I'd probably be cynical, because that's what most people are.
I got there.
You know,
I got there.
See,
and I don't know how I was like, step away from news. Because that's the only thing that I was looking at on TV.
Yeah,
I never used to. I stopped following up on the soaps because it was the same story, and I was like, I have to watch the news. 1 p.m. I had to switch on TV. 7 p.m. I had to switch on TV. 9 p.m. I had to see what I could have missed in all the other broadcasts.
We don't watch
and
TV
then
here, you know.
Just like that, I'm scared of Uganda, because Gatali Konfufu came and they were all about killings. So it felt like the moment I step out of this house, I'm going to be battered.
Exactly. And you notice that when Agatali Konfufu came and it was a hit, it's like all other stations started following that trend.
Because it's a competition. It's competition, and we are somehow we are addicted to depressive things. We are addicted to them, and it's mostly a reason of you are in hope of something good.
Yeah.
So you keep chasing and chasing and chasing, but you keep getting fed the negative things.
Yeah. I'd also like to give a shout out to Mwami. You know, I mentioned 3 people, you, Okelo Herbert, and Mwami. I love how that guy's energy is all over the place. Like, I had fun. I was there.
Very unapologetic.
Deal with it. Deal with it. Do you know where I was last week? No, you don't. Let me show you where I was. And you want to know how I am? I am happy. How much? Like this. That guy is so free.
Yeah.
I watched Mwami.
Yeah.
And I got the freedom to be me.
Oh my goodness.
Did I just rhyme?
Oh my goodness.
I watched Mwami and I got the freedom to be me.
Wow.
Because why not? No, when you think about it, why not? And I used to, you know, I saw the Afro-Millennial page.
Yeah.
And I was like, so each time I see someone doing something, and I'm like, wow. The first question I ask myself is, Ania kuganye, who has said you can't do that?
Right.
And so watching that guy is like, it's like, oh my God. You know, you see him and you're like, this is so cool. You know how they say introverts they don't, like maybe dancing, for example. When they're in public, they are not, but when they're in the silence, they are busting moves and killing it. And then you're seeing someone who is busting moves and killing it in public.
Right.
And he is free, he is fine, and there's this false thing which people think that just because someone is happy on social media, they're automatically sad outside. No, that's not how it is.
Yeah.
That's not how it is, you know? So
not all the time.
Yeah, so man, Mwami, shout out, like, keep doing your thing. Like, those who are annoyed, let them hang, because, okay, they shouldn't hang.
They shouldn't hang. So how do you keep your mental health in check?
One, I have learned to know when it is approaching. Like, that you can, I've noticed, like, I can sense when something is not right.
Yeah.
You know? I'm very lucky that I have this ability to detect my feelings. Like, I'm always aware, even in this moment, I'm aware of every feeling that I have.
It's important to have self-awareness.
Exactly, like I know every feeling. So if maybe I'm angry, I will know. If I'm jealous, I will know. Yes. If I'm envious. And you know, social media has that effect.
That's one.
Yeah. Because I'm out here hyping Mwami, but at some point I must have felt like, hey, mom, I like this guy.
Yeah.
You know? But then it helps me to, like, it helps me to see that, for example, for his case, if someone is free like that, it gives permission for other people to be free. And so when I start to notice that I'm starting to feel a certain way about certain people, I would like to introduce you to the thing I do. Okay, I have very few friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
Very few.
No, they started growing.
Yeah, they've started growing. Yeah.
I noticed the trend.
Yeah. So they used to be few.
Yeah.
Because
you were keeping to yourself.
Actually, not keeping to myself. This is what happened. Before I joined social media, I was very fortunate to have landed on certain writings on how to deal with social media. Yes. Okay. By then, when it had just started, you know, Jehovah's Witnesses, and they're talk.
So they would come to you?
They would knock the doors. We used to subscribe to their newsletters. Okay. Watchtower and Awake.
Okay.
So we always had a constant stream. They used to, you know, deliver those. And around that time, I read a lot about social media, you know, Facebook.
Yeah, so they had that content.
They had that content. And when I went in when I was prepared. Yeah. And I'm happy to say I don't have many issues with social media. I don't. I'm very sure, like, I have no guilt about not accepting someone's friend request. If I don't like you. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Or there's people with whom outside of Facebook you're not friends. Yeah. But then they send you a friend request.
Yeah, I see that. So I've seen that a lot. But at some point, I took to the culture of but you've not been talking to me. You've been seeing me. You didn't want to talk to me. And now you're sending me a request. You want to spy on me?
They call them monitoring spirits.
Yes, someone taught me that word. It's like, you want to spy on me? Yeah. To find my glitches and judge me? Yeah. But then at some point I was like, no, let me give it to you. Come. I've accepted. Come and see it. Yeah. Come and fight with yourself without you approaching me. So sometimes I'm like, nah, I won't take you in. I'm like, nah, come please. Come and see what's happening here. Yeah.
So for me, it's just recent that I've not been an active user, but now the kind of things that I write have started to bring people in my way, and I have relaxed on that. Yeah. So nowadays I accept friend requests. I also
the people need the work that you're doing. People need the work. Yeah. They need the work. Someone helped me change my attitude towards that. Because it's like, man, what's happening? Yeah. So many friend requests, and he was like, use it to minister. People need your ministry. And I'm like, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know, I think my attitudes, are just changing. I'm having a more mature way of approaching it. The first thing I did was to open the comment section. It never used to be open. And I did this in like 2016, and I only used to come to Facebook just to see stuff, share. Yeah. Exactly.
You didn't want any comments. Okay. You didn't want to engage. So how were you really socializing? Is that socializing really?
I wasn't into Facebook. Yeah. I was. Oh, there's an explanation to this, by the way. I got my first smartphone in 2016. Okay. So, see that? So it means almost the entire time of my university, I wasn't active on Facebook. Yeah. The only time we had a chance to be on Facebook was at home, where we had a computer. But then beyond that, there was hardly anything. So I got my smartphone in my 4th year. And that's when I started to to revive my Facebook, but it was first only to see. Yeah. And it's really, really very recently that I've started to actually, make posts, as recent as 2020.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So outside social media, how do you keep your health in check? You talked about how you don't engage. Is there anything else beyond that?
I pray a lot. I am a very, very, like, me and God, we are like this. Yeah. We have an ongoing relationship that is, it's real. Yeah. I pray I tell God everything. And then I journal a lot. I've kept a journal since 2009.
Oh,
Yes.
it's a long time.
Yeah. And I keep looking back, and then I'd be like, really?
I survived this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I journal. Initially, it was mostly, to, release my frustrations
Yeah.
and stuff. And then the older I grew, it has now tended more towards writing my vision, my plans for the future. And just recently, it shocked me to see that, the things people said, I would write it down.
Yeah.
The things I wrote down are actually happening right now.
Yeah.
It's strange.
It's more like writing a letter to the universe, and the universe responds.
Guys, I have become a motivational speaker. Those things work.
The energy that you give out is it's like the law of attraction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those things work, you guys. Like, I look at things and I'm like, no way. And I wrote those things.
Yeah.
At a point when I was totally clueless, but I had faith. And now this is key. You asked me how I keep my mental health in check.
Yeah.
There's this thing I have lived with ever since I was a child. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know where it comes from. But for some reason, I just know that things are going to be okay.
Let me tell you why you think that.
Yeah.
Because you've been down and you've come out of it.
Yeah.
So you just get to accept, like, yeah, I survived that. I'm also going to survive this.
Exactly. Things are going to be okay. And then friends also.
Yeah.
Again, Zabuli. And another friend, Charity.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so lucky that I have friendships where there's nothing which is out of bounds to talk about.
You talk about everything.
We talk about everything. Which has made me also to be unnecessarily vulnerable to other people.
Yeah.
Because I never know what's off limits to talk about,
Yeah.
So you end up saying things and people are like, you're not supposed to say that.
No, I don't care. I don't care. I say anything, and sometimes I'm like, ooh. And the place that got me very liberated in saying anything is my workplace. Those guys, Jesus Christ, my workmates, straight from my boss to the messenger. We say things and I'm like, oh my goodness, you guys.
Yeah.
So now I came out to the public because these are people that you're with the whole week. Maybe 5 days and 7 days.
Yeah.
They sort of mold you. And now I'm coming out to the world and like, you weren't like this. What's happening?
Yeah.
But I stepped into my voice. I wasn't scared of anything, and I was like, just say anything.
Yeah. I've just entered into that realm recently.
You're going to love it. You're going to love it. So thank you so much for
You're
being
welcome.
around, for honoring our invite and
Yes.
gracing us with your presence.
Yes.
And
It's been lovely.
And
My major takeaway from this conversation is that you should not compare your 1 year's growth to someone else's 10-year or so growth. Give yourself permission to grow into the person that you want to be. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Hashtag with Nabuguzi Kiwanuka. If you loved what you heard, make sure you subscribe to Hashtag with Nabuguzi Kiwanuka so that you don't miss out on any episode. Subscribe in your podcast platform of choice and share it with your friends. Let them know this is where they have to be. Feel free to share your insights about what connected with you in this episode. Do that on social media and be sure to tag us. We are at Hashtag with Nabuguzi Kiwanuka on Facebook and Instagram, and on Twitter our handle is at HTNK Podcast. HTNK is all caps lock, and podcast is in small case, but it's all one word, at HTNK Podcast. Until next time, shine your shine.